The Joseph Andrews is the history of the adventures of the Joseph Andrews and of his friend, Mr. Abraham Wright Adam. As we all know, Joseph Andrews has been written by Henry Fielding. It is one of the century best novel. Okay, let's start with the introduction. Joseph Andrews is a novel written by Henry Fielding and published in 1742. Fielding defined it as a comic epic poem in prose in the preface to Joseph Andrews. As we have discussed a lot that why he has really written a preface, right? He has written a preface just to justify his writing, that why he has chosen this genre of writing. And this would be the only reason you'll say that he has taken in that way. Number one. Number two, that he has taken it as a parody. If we say the parody, so I hope that you all know the parody of Richardson novel Pamela. As we have discussed it a lot, what do you mean by comic epic poem? So it is a parody of epistolary novel Pamela by Samuel Richardson. What do you mean by epistolary? What is the definition of epistolary novel? How it has been written in that way? Why it has been written? You have to know basically the definition of epistolary novel, because it will helpful in your future quiz or exams. So epistolary novel means it has been written in letter forms, right? It has been written in a letter form, and Pamela basically has been written in a letter form. Pamela used to write letters. You will find in Joseph Andrews, you also find some of the letters which basically Joseph Andrews used to write to his imaginary or sister Pamela. There is a big connection with the Samuel Richardson Pamela and Joseph Andrews. Fielding creates the figure of Joseph as the imaginary brother of Pamela in order to satirize Richardson's way to represent the concept of morality. With this, basically, Fielding, Fieldings used to satirize Pamela, because as Richardson's only believe that woman has to keep her chastity and secure her chastity in another way, and but as a woman has to consider as a more moral, more chaste, more naive. So Fielding did also believe that there is some of the men who used to be more moral, more chaste, and he the men also believe to secure or save uh, their their chastity, their morality. They have to be strong in that way. So if you would be, as I told you, that if there's a 8th March, कुछ अरसे पहले ये मार्च गुजरी है, if you would be in front of me, so we'll discuss that why there's only women, why not there's a men. They both have, they both have, they both possesses this characteristics because God has created us in that way. We do believe in that we have our own chastity, we do have our own morality, and we have to make it more safe, more secure, right? Okay, with the main characters Fielding creates two heroes who are the vehicle of his parody of Richardson's and the bearer of his own concepts of virtue. So again, यहाँ पर you will come to know with these, because the names are there, the Abraham and it is the story of the Joey and Mr. Abraham, and they're the two different examples of, you'll say, the virtue. So who is Joseph Andrews? The name Joseph is linked to the biblical figure of Jesus Christ, the Father. Jesus Christ, Father. The main virtue which characterizes both of them is chastity. So it has been taken from there also, from the religious perspective. You will come to know because at that era, the novel has been written on to moralize people, to educate people, to build some of the sense of chastity, morality at if in that era. Okay, as we have talked about the theme of chastity is one of the prominent theme in this novel, and it goes with the Joseph Andrews. Throughout the novel, Joseph is always in struggle for his chastity. He avoids women whom he doesn't love because he thinks that such sexuality will be a misuse of love as an abuse to his love with Fanny. So again, it is the perception of his love that you a person should be very loyal, should be very morally strong, um, and could not be commit any kind of illegal thing or illegitimate, could not be have a very illegitimate relation to anyone. So it can be a more moral. Okay, Abraham Adams. He is a person of some satires. His name is linked to the biblical figure again of Abraham Adam. You can easily refer the name. The forefather of humanity. He is a scholar, but he's little forgetful. Or you'll say he used to forget some of the things again and again. Then novel you will find out. He is an example of a courage and important the theme of charity. So when you talk about the chastity, chastity goes. The theme of chastity goes with the Joseph Andrews, and theme of charity goes with the Abraham Adam. Okay, the plot. I think one of the major whenever we talk about the novel, one of the major important characteristic of the novel is the plot. As we all know, there's a five structures. Let's talk about the plot because at that moment, at that era, it was not a real plot. But we do usually consider that maybe there's a plot and plot could be in this way. Joseph Andrew is an innocent and a virtuous boy who leaves the service of Lady Bobby, who has fallen in love with him in order to preserve his chastity. The journey starts with the aim of meeting his beloved Fanny. So again, with this line, we come to know the plot is this. So the major theme is that he wants to make a journey to just meet his beloved Fanny. But when we talk about the journey, so can you relate the journey? It means it can be, you can call it a picaresque novel, or you'll call it Baldur Zoman novel, or you'll call it oh yeah, epistolary novel. So you will find out the when we talk about the journey, which novel, which kind of novel it would be. After being battered and robbed by two thieves, he saved and by a stagecoach. Then he is taken to a Mr. Tower's inn. Okay, uh, this is done. Okay, so what? Again, start with the same topic, Joseph Andreas. So we have talked about two themes, the theme of charity and the theme of chastity. The theme of chastity belongs to Joseph Andrew. The theme of charity belongs to Abraham. Mr. Adam. There's one of the theme which is called theme of hypocrisy of a high social class. Basically, we will, inshallah, in further lectures, we also discuss themes in a more in-depth. We'll do the in-depth analysis of these themes. But somehow I'll give you just the overview of these things. The theme of hypocrisy of a high social class. In the episode of the stagecoach, we can see how well-off people, religious believers, only think about themselves and come up with excuse not to help Joseph. So there is one. Sorry, there in the novel you will find out one of the episode where you'll come to see that there is one incident then where Joseph is just helpless and wounded over there. He has theft all his robbed. He's robbed basically and theft all the you'll say the clothes, and then he was the people they are in the coach, and they are how well off the people are, how they religious believers they are believe to be as the one of the we believe that the vanity is one of the you'll say uh, uh, one of the deadly sin, and it basically they depict these sins over there. Do they believe the religious? Though the people are used to believe they're religious, but they cannot help them. They cannot help Mr. Joseph uh, just uh, just to believe that they are more well off. In particular, among the travelers, there is a lady who pretends to be shocked at thought of the naked man. So, look, if a man, what do you think? If a man is too much needy, he does not possess food, shelter, basic needs. So, what should a person who used to believe that he would be considered more religious, more well-off person? A, a normal being used to believe that he has to help him if someone is needy. But how? What? Why she was shocked basically because he was naked, and just because of that, because he didn't have any clothes to wear. He used to he what she has done basically. She thought that I cannot believe a person could be naked, and how can I help a naked person? Look the hypocrisy is there. Look the social class, how social class believe to be treated a man like that. Okay, theme of charity. In the episode of the stagecoach, only one of the travelers, the Pastoline, display real compassion for Joseph's terrible states, giving him his coat. He would rather ride in his shirt all his life than suffer a fellow creature to lie in so miserable a condition. Look how so theme of charity is there. Basically, he has given his coat just to help him, and what the words he says, he would rather ride in his shirt all his life than suffer a fellow creature to lie in so miserable. That he would be thankful that he has given something to him. He would be more feel that he has done lots of. Look, the charity. What do you mean by charity? Charity is to give something with open-heartedly, and how he has given a coat just to cover all his body, and that believing that he has given a lot to him. Theme of charity also concerned or related to the Betty. She was the maid of the inn, and is another example of charity. However, sorry. However, Betty's behavior isn't completely uninterested. She is attracted by Joseph's beauty. Again, Joseph has been taken as a blushing, beautiful gentleman, a very beautiful guy, very beautiful man. So every woman has to attracted or usually attracted to him, and Betty is also one of the lady who has also attracted by him, right? And Betty is in one of the episodes you will come to know how Betty really help him to just recover from his wound and from whatever the condition he has. Since Joseph risked his life, he confessed his sin to the local parson Barnabas. Then parson Adam arrives in the inn and decides to follow Joseph in his journey. Joseph injures himself falling off the horse, so he is forced to go by a stagecoach. Adam instead continues on foot. All at once, he hears some female shouts and fighting against a man. He saves the girl who turns out to be Fanny. So you will find out in this novel so many, you'll say things happen in not more logical way, but in that way that somehow whenever Joseph has gone somewhere, Parson has used to follow him, and accidentally they met somewhere, and then Parson Adam continues his journey with him, and then he find out that someone is that, and he listen a shout somewhere in the jungle, and then he follow the voice, and then he basically saved the girl, and accidentally the girl was Fanny. After that, Fanny and Adam set out and they stop at Savin, where Joseph is there, and there is also the Betty is also there. Since they haven't money to pay, Adam asks the sorry, Adam asked the local parson, Trulliber, for a loan without any result. Despite the incident, Adam, Joseph's, and Fanny go on. One night they find a house and ask the owner, Mr. Wilson, for hospitality. He tells that them the story of his life. The worst of his misfortune has been the kidnapping of his only son. So what happened? Again, the turning point is there. Mr. Wilson is the person who basically told these three guys that my my son has been kidnapped a year, so many years back. In spite of another misadventure in which Fanny is raped by a square, they manage to come back home. So you will find out how women are treated at that era, how basically it's not in that era, but I would say how rich, how Fielding has shown or depict the value of women, because, or you'll say how the woman has perceived in two of three things. Mrs. Slipslop, Miss Lady Booby, and Miss Betty basically shows the very negative kind of characteristics. Somehow Fanny is the again show the very moral characteristic, uh, and uh, and and encounter some of the very terrible incidents in her life. Somehow she's safe and came back home. Theme of corruption of clergy people. The one of the important, let's say, the theme, which is a corruption, basically hypocrisy of again, and people of clergy people, they are the very religious people. Would be considered as a very religious people, and how they would be considered as a more corruption is there. Fielding draws our distinctions between the mere formal possessions of Christians, doctrines represented by Trillibur and Barnabas, and the active charity which he considered the true Christianity embodied by Adams. So you will find out three persons are there and how they are different to each other. Whoever therefore is void of charity, I make no scruple of pronouncing that he is no Christian. So it's again, it shows it depicts the definition of charity. So with this charity, you will say the clergy people has been depicted that way. Once once at home, Parson Adam announces Fanny and Joseph's marriage. A peddler, he is the more major character. Would I believe in that? I don't know whether you have read the novel, and then do tell me, do you believe in that or not? The peddler recognizes in Fanny the child that his wife confessed to have kidnapped from the Andrews many years before. So Joseph and Fanny may be siblings. Wow, it's a good turn. मोहब्बत तो गई गई. Joseph's parents come to visit their children and explain that Joseph had been left. Look, again the twists and turns are there. So again you cannot find out what is the real plot is. As they have discussed, the plot is that there was a journey of Mr. Joseph's to meet his beloved Miss Fanny. But what I believe there's just too many twists and turns. How can you say that? So Joseph's parents come to visit their children and explain that Joseph had been left in the crib in the place of the Fanny by the gypsies. So Joseph is neither Pamela's nor Fanny's brother. At this point, Mr. Wilson recognized Joseph, his son. At the end, the two lovers can celebrate their marriage. Happy ending. That is a good line. But I like the novel. though I have not taken it too serious, but I like the novels. Okay, thank you that we'll be inshallah meeting with the next lecture. Okay. So don't worry, we'll be summarized. This is a summary of the themes: chastity, charity, hypocrisy, selfishness of a high class, corruption of the clergyman. We'll be doing it more intense way, or we'll say in very in we'll do the in-depth analysis of these themes. Okay.